Minding My Business, the CEO story with Ramesh Menon and Hrishi K.
Hello. I know if you're a cricket fan, you're probably heartbroken that India didn't make it into the business end of the ICC T20 World Cup. But welcome to a show that keeps it happy on the business front. It's Minding My Business, the CEO story. I'm Hrishi K, and say hello to the CEO of Fever Network and Radio 1, my co-host, the one and only Ramesh Menon. Hi.
Hi, Hrishi. Actually speaking of cricket, from a business perspective, I think BCCI made sure they pulled off a tournament as hosts, with a little help, of course, from their friends in the UAE. So kudos to them. With that, it's time to get down to business, literally. Our guest today is someone who started his career as a teacher and moved up the ranks into a leadership role, and today is CEO of a global higher education company.
Yes, Ramesh, and he's really carved a name for himself in the pedagogy and MOOC space. For those of you living under a rock, MOOC is MOOC, or Massive Open Online Courses. In fact, another first here is that he's our very first guest from the EdTech sector on Minding My Business, the CEO story. Please welcome Arjun Mohan, CEO India at UpGrad. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Hrishi, and thanks, Ramesh, for that introduction. Interesting to know that I'm the first person from EdTech. There are dime a dozen these days, but yeah.
Hi, Arjun. Great to have you on the show, and let's start. Let me start with the bigger picture. There's been, like you said, there's lots of EdTech companies now, and there's really a lot of buzz around EdTech itself. So let's just talk about UpGrad's portfolio and global expansion plans. Tell us what you have about it.
Yeah, so we are an upskilling company without telling much more on it. We are in the higher ed space. So if you look at years together, Indian EdTech has always been a K-12 story. Frankly speaking, that's because of the numbers. There are 250 million school-going students in India, and K-12 try to cater to all of them. Higher ed was always the little brother whom nobody really cared to look at. But ever since the pandemic, ever since the lockdown, this has come to the forefront in a big way. One part is that we cater to around 100 million professionals in the country. And second is that rather than being a supplementary player in K-12, higher ed actually is the formal education, especially with the new education policy coming in. Now, there is absolutely no difference between doing a BBA, MBA course online or going to a university and doing it. So in the view of the future of education in a country like India, where people start working very early, and it's so important, especially for the lower middle class, to start earning money as early as possible. The way we are looking at this is a game changer for our country as a whole, where we provide options to people to learn while they earn. That's a unique proposition, which we think will make us globally competitive as a nation. So that's what we do. We do multiple courses, which skills the people in the new age skill sets like data science, management, analytics, digital marketing, so on and so forth. We also do quite a few hybrid courses where we provide people cost-effective solutions to do part of their courses online and then do the remaining part offline in an international university, which allows them even to migrate if that is what they want to. Yeah. So in a nutshell, this is what we do.
Arjun, as a media wala, I'm really excited when I sample any new campaign. And as you would know, your founder, Ronnie Screwvalas, and me are dear mates. In fact, Ronnie is Zarina, myself, go back a couple of decades. And I remember when Ronnie launched the MBA Brand Campaign, when UpGrad launched that, I was really excited to see that. So for people who don't know the MBA Brand Campaign, give us the lowdown on that, Arjun.
Yeah. So Hrishi, yesterday only Ronnie spoke to me about you. We were having some discussion where he told, and in between he said that Hrishi always ensures that I do some promo lines when I go into his show. So he's also a business marketer alongside whatever he does. But anyway, so yeah.
You know the Parsi business brain.
Yeah.
So he's forewarned you on the promos.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the MBA campaign has its genesis from our identification of problems faced by working professionals. So we talk to tons and tons of people every day. The number of calls we make on a daily basis is around 27,000, and we speak to around 6,000, 7,000 people on a daily basis. So a lot of our new ideas, a lot of our new programs comes out from the heart-to-heart conversation we have with working professionals, where they tell us saying that I have this problem. So one of the things which we have always observed is that working professional keeps coming back to us whenever there is a crisis in their life, a promotion which never happened, although they were expecting it, a hike which they thought is coming. Sometimes even a girl who proposed and rejected because that guy did not have a degree. So one point which we kept on hearing is that year after year when I'm working, I know that I need an MBA. I need to be specialized in management. But every year, the cost of leaving the job and going and doing it is becoming more and more risk prevalent. This is the proposition we worked with. And that was the whole idea of creating an online MBA from top universities, giving the same exposure, same understanding, same upskilling, which any MBA worldwide can provide. And that, of course, comes with the opportunities post MBA also, but at the same time, will not force you to leave your job. So that's been the genesis of the product. See, every campaign comes out of the USPs of the product you build, right? Because it comes from a consumer insight. And the campaign comes out of the same. So in the campaign, we basically picturize a true story which we have heard from a professional who kept on delaying his upskilling decision, and suddenly one day he finds out that a junior right down in his company has got that prospective outstation project which he always wanted to have. And it, like the signature UpGrad way of doing things with a little bit of humor, we picturize the same situation at the airport where they meet accidentally, and the entire conversation happening in front of his wife, which is more of a problem. So this is what the campaign is about. We're trying to communicate to our customers that don't delay this decision. It's not really tough. Yes, you may have to put in an hour or two extra every day, but that's the time you waste on your mobile. Use it to upskill. It's just a year or two. It's just a year now. And then you will see these opportunities coming to you. So that's what the campaign is all about, where we call out the unique proposition we as UpGrad is able to provide with our partners.
Absolutely. Don't delay the decisions, upgrade yourself.
Yes.
Related to that is really career transitions, right? I mean, and that's really what you're talking about. It's become very cool now. Everyone's talking about it. And I believe UpGrad has successfully sort of enabled lots of these career transitions. We'd like to know more, Arjun.
Yeah, so Ramesh, one part we were always clear about is that an individual in India upskills or comes and takes a degree because they want a life transformational experience. And when I say life transformational, it's basically a better job at the end of it. That's the truth of our country. We are not people who go out and do a course for the sake of knowledge. We really do it because we need an outcome. And that's what, as an organization, we stood for. We always did an end-to-end work where when we start a course, we ask them what's the kind of object you're looking at. Is it a transition into a different domain? That's a new job. Is it an acceleration, promotion in the same domain you're working in? Or is it that you need better projects, professional confidence? So our platform allows you to put this outcome and then allows us to track the skill set to take it to where they want to do it. So that's what we stood for, as a result of which we have been very, very successful in providing the outcomes our customers or learners have asked us. The statistics, and this is verified by Deloitte, and that's what comes out in our ad also, audited, verified by Deloitte. The 5 out of 6 learners who come and do our courses get the outcome they are looking at. We have an NPS tracker, which we do after every course. And this is the same data which was verified by the auditors. So that's what we stand for, and that's what we keep talking about. The statistics is so good to good to be true that I've been getting comments on social media saying that this is all flack. And our team has been responding to it with the LinkedIn profile of the customer saying that, see, this is the customer, you can check it for himself. So, see, we are sitting in a world where everyone is claiming things, right? I mean, we are sitting in a world where a crypto company is going out and calling their account as a fixed deposit account. So I can understand where people are coming from, but fact of the matter is that this is what is happening and we are confident about doing it. Last quarter, we had around 1,250 transitions where we did this. There are much more transitions which keeps on happening because the learners does it themselves. But this is what we stand for, and we ensure that everyone at least gets all the help from us for the dream job they're looking at. Getting it is finally their own caliber, but we'll take care that their caliber is built to as best state as possible.
Arjun, I'm a little intrigued. While organizations in several sectors continue to swing the axe on jobs to deal with the current situation, UpGrad, on the other hand, is doubling its employee base to capitalize on the boom in the edtech space. So what are your top business and talent priorities in the coming months? If you just look at the next few months as a window.
Sure. So see, we as I told you earlier also, right? In the domain we work is post K-12. We try to work with a learner who is post K-12, whether he is bachelor's, master's, all the way till doctorates, and try to help them upskill to improve their life. That's what we do, right? Our focus for years together has been building a learning experience for the working professionals. What we are seeing is that the same mentality is now reflected by multiple other adjacent streams also. For instance, the bachelor's market now wants similar kind of outcome, right? Especially with the new education policy coming in. So that degree business is another focus we have got. We are seeing that more and more people, especially the ones who are not able to crack the top ranks in the JEEs or the medical entrance, is now looking at going and studying abroad as an option. They know that they will get a much better lifestyle outside India, which they have lost out, or which will take many years in India because they couldn't come in the first rank of it. So even though they don't have that crore to spend to go out, there are a large number of people who are wanting to do it, which is the whole idea behind the creation of study abroad business, where we are giving them an option to go abroad and study at a fraction of their cost, because we do it hybrid, partially online and partially offline. So that's the third stream of business. Fourth stream is we do a lot of work with universities now. Most of the universities want to go online and they want a partner who can help them. So there is a large scale SaaS business and a hybrid business we are running with multiple universities across the country. What we try to do with all these businesses is we try to provide an end-to-end experience. So we have, for the jobs part, for the placements part, we have a dedicated team which helps all these set of employees, or all these set of learners to find jobs of their caliber, their level. This is literally a subsidiary of us. It's called as Recruit. It was a recruitment firm. Now we have we have acquired them and they are 100% subsidiary. They completely focus on the placement and the outcome bit of it. So this is the entire gamut of things which we are doing.
So on the recruitment front, obviously it's a new business, but you obviously wear two hats. One, of course, for recruiting your own teams, and the other to build a talent pool of UpGrad learners from where other companies obviously can source talent. Yeah. So how are UpGrad's programs sort of differentiated to make learners job ready, more employable, or what have you?
Yeah. So there are two parts to it. First of all, one thing which we have identified or realized very early is that it is just not a MOOC story. Getting content is something which you can get it for free, right? But education is not that. Education, upskilling, training is a lot about developing a discipline. It requires close hand-holding. It requires a peer group working with you. So a lot of social aspect comes into it, right? Which is the reason why we say that we don't compete with any of the MOOC platforms like Coursera, right? If they are a library, we are a university. That is the difference. And that is the reason if you look at it, a MOOC platform has got a 2% completion rate. We have a 87% completion rate for our courses. So that is a big difference that sits there. So number one is our platform. The whole learning platform is planned in such a way that the students get the real outcome on all the facts or the hard courses they study. Second is that, see, a student finally, as I mentioned earlier also, is looking at a transition at the end of it, being ready for that job interview. And for job interview, especially in Indians, a lot depends on the soft skills they have. So there is a large part on career services, which we do, where we train them on how to tackle themselves, how to present themselves, how to groom themselves, help them with a resume, tell them how to put the right projects in there, help them with their LinkedIn profile, help them with mock interviews, so on and so forth. So we ensure that this guy is totally ready at the end of the day when he is facing that interview. Through the learning process, we ensure that he has got multiple mentors working with him from the perspective of learning experience, from the perspective of career. So this person is ready and raring to go. This is how we ensure that our learners are one notch up and be there to crack that interview or go for that job which they are looking at.
You know, Arjun, I keep talking about the digital revolution, and I say migrating to an online ecosystem is not a mere matter of just placing a webcam in front of the teacher, right? I mean, who knows that better than you? Yeah. There's so much more that goes into it. As a CEO, what are you most proud of? I mean, what's something outstanding that UpGrad has achieved during this period of extraordinary challenge?
Yeah, so as you rightly said, it's not a simple process. You're basically telling individuals that what you have been doing for last 12 to 15 years, there's a better way to do it. Who will accept it that easily? What I am proud about in this whole migration piece is how well we have been able to convince people when we got an opportunity. And that opportunity was unfortunately the lockdown opportunity, because at that point, because of lack of options, a lot of people who would have never tried online came online and tried it. Now, you have already seen how dime a dozen companies came out at that time calling themselves online. But like the mushrooms which come up in the rain, it also goes down immediately after the sun shines, right? That's a situation. When someone comes in and tries out a platform, if you are not going to give them a superlative experience, they will think that, okay, great, this is giving me all options which I would have tried, and I don't even have to move out from my couch. That's what will retain them. So I think that is what we did well. All the investment we did as UpGrad from 2014 helped us in doing that conversion. Literally, taking the example of MBA itself, what we have done with our platform is we try to replicate every aspect of an MBA program, which gives a learner that outcome online. So MBA is just not about doing some classes, right? It's a lot about case study. It's a lot about group projects. It's a lot about working in teams and solving a case study. It is a lot about networking. Each of these aspects are replicated online on our platform. We have places where you can network with your peers. We have projects where they have to do it together, submit. And we have check process to check whether they all did it as a group. Otherwise, we reject it. So these small aspects is actually what helps you make a well-grounded individual professional at the end of MBA. And we were able to show it to a customer that you can do it all sitting in front of laptop at your home. So this helped us retaining our customers. The growth which you saw in the last few quarters is also because we have been able to convert that free customer into a paid customer by exposing them. So that's what I am most proud of, which gives me the confidence that in higher ed, this is not a change which will go back, because everyone is busy and the value proposition is there for people to pick it up.
That's fabulous. You spoke on mushrooms, and the edtech sector has actually seen a lot of these mushrooms coming up. And the good thing is also that there are lots of acquisitions happening. And you've been part of that bandwagon as well, acquiring a lot of companies. You've acquired Knowledge Hut, which is now, I hear UpGrad Knowledge Hut Impartus, which has been rechristened UpGrad Campus, Recruit India, and finally, TGA, that's now UpGrad Jeet, I think.
Yes.
I'd like you to talk about these M&As and also tell us how these acquisitions sort of help strengthen your core business and how does it all add up?
Yeah. So, Ramesh, earlier also, as I mentioned, it is finally about providing upskilling and providing transitions. That's the only theme we focus on. In case of UpGrad does most of its programs as university partnership programs. And we do a lot of long form programs, which is because we are very clear that someone who comes to us will need time to work with us to upskill. What we saw as a trend is that it is no longer people who need time, longer tenure, who is coming in and upskilling. There are also very good professional, highly proficient, who already knows a lot, who wants to come in and learn about a new skill today. And that's where we felt that the whole domain of short courses in high tech, especially, is on a rise. Rather than building it all in-house, we felt that Knowledge Hut provides that solution. So it is the same base of customer, but depending on where that customer is at a skill level, they can now pick either short or long form. I have also seen cases where the customer transition journey is, let me try out a short program first of all, test it out, ensure that this is working well for me, and then take long form. So that's also a journey I'm seeing automatically, and that's something I will work on to create a product journey to move the customers from a Knowledge Hut perspective to an UpGrad perspective on a long term. I already mentioned about how we feel that universities as a stakeholder is very important in our ecosystem, and providing services to them and giving them options to do hybridization of their course is important, which is where UpGrad Campus comes in. UpGrad Campus does two streams of revenue or two streams of businesses. One is the SaaS products, which helps a university to go online, digitalize. And second is helping them create courses which are hybrid, where our teachers and their teachers do half of it, online and offline. So this allowed us to get into the engineering market, which cannot be an online product. So engineering there and the value added services for engineering, and the whole idea of bringing the practitioner's perspective is provided by us, so that the students are totally skilled by the time they come for placements. There is also a segment of Indian population who does not want private jobs. They're still very clear that they want government jobs. And that is where UpGrad Jeet comes in. UpGrad Jeet is completely focused on upskilling them, helping them crack those examinations like Bank PO, SBI clerk, so on and so forth, which will give them that transition. So this is how it may look like we're trying to do too many things, but it is just one single vision and that one single objective which we are trying to do from different directions, because the customer interest falls in that. Along with all this, also we have expanded our international business quite a bit. See, this again comes from our clear conviction that the current era we are sitting in is the era of India, especially when it comes to EdTech. We have certain competencies which cannot be rivaled by anybody in the world. We have access to fantastic teachers at a cost which is unbelievable. I mean, you will not see such kind of math, tech, and English talent anywhere in the globe at this price points. We have access to great engineers who is able to build the stack from scratch. Earlier, the problem was we only had service engineers, but that is also sorted now. Okay, it is expensive, and I think it's a short-term expensive problem, but it is not as expensive as hiring an engineer in the valley. And third, which a lot of people don't realize how important it is, we have access to some very good digital marketing talent. So sitting here, I can run the entire backend business of United States. I am seeing more and more universities open to tie up with me rather than going with the US player, because they see the value add. They think that our learning experience is much more superior. They know that we can get the work done. So we are very clear that the next era is of India, and hence our expansion abroad. So we have offices in US, UK, and APAC now. We have built back local teams to do the front end work, but the back end happens from India. So this is a model we are trying out. There will be acquisitions in these international geographies also, because we are very clear that that's where it is moving.
Superb. Now, I know you're a big cricket fan, Arjun. How important do you see sports campaigns, especially, what we saw during the IPL? How important are those as part of your marketing strategy?
So Hrishi, cricket is the largest religion in India, right? It has got the highest followers. So there is no marquee property with the kind of reach and exposure like an IPL. Unfortunately, T20 did not live up to the expectations, but that's what sport is all about, right? 1,200 crore star business finally was all relying on Afghanistan. They could have actually gone and taken care of the economy with that kind of money. But yeah, that's what. So I think IPL and these campaigns will continue to be a very important part in brand building. Two reasons where I see. One is if you want to launch your brand, or if you want to make a statement done, which has to be seen by a large part of this country, there is no other option. This is the option to go in. So that part will make it continuously an option for all the marketers. But one caveat I would put there is that the property is going to be important, but I think the channel, which was always seen as default, is changing today. It is no longer all TV. A lot of consumption of this content happens online today. You know that your radio shows also during that time has to speak cricket, because that's what everyone wants to hear that. So the channel has become quite different. It is no longer all TV, but these properties are going to be very, very important for any marketers in the future also.
So staying with marketing campaigns, tell us about your Raho Ambitious campaign. What is the story there? There's a lot of nostalgia associated with it, and it's a very powerful tool like cricket is used. So also nostalgia by marketers. So tell us about it.
So Raho Ambitious was quite an old campaign. So see, one part which we have realized, or at that time, what the trend at that time was that we saw that upskilling was taken by people who are ambitious. The whole going up in the career ladder, those were restricted to some individual who were ambitious. So at that point, it was an idea which could relate them to going to the next level. But what has happened with our campaigns over a period of time is that we have also metamorphosized. We have also moved into more mainstream, because we have seen that upskilling, learning new things, wanting to go up is no longer restricted to a few geeks or some few guys who can be seen as ambitious. Today, it is a pertinent problem. Everyone wants to go up in life. I mean, think about our parents, the number of companies they would have worked, all their life will be one, right? These days, average year a person spends in a company is 2.1 years. So it's a mainstream phenomenon today. And hence, education is very closely related to this whole thing, which is where from a Raho Ambitious, which was about talking to a small set of people, we moved into a positioning which was more mainstream, where we said that sirf naam ki nahi kaam ki degree. Because we kept on hearing from the individuals that degree is a term which is used for any course which is useful in India. We say that if you come and take us, there will be some use out of it. And what is that use? It is kamki. There is a job that could be possibly at the end of it. So it was more about, at that time, about creating the awareness about UpGrad as a mainstream brand, and also awareness about online learning as a mainstream thing. I mean, associating a word like degrees to online suddenly makes it very, very mainstream. So that's what the second phase was. Third phase, if you look at it, which we are building now, is more about the value propositions of UpGrad, where we are now saying that, okay, now everyone knows about online. The awareness has gone to another level. Let us now talk about how differentiated this will be. So top universities, flexible learning, top placements, top outcomes. So that was also the metamorphosis or the journey which the brand took, which I think is one of the things we did right, and which has helped in growing online learning itself on the higher ed space.
Arjun, from a teacher to the CEO of UpGrad, it sounds like a really, really, truly exhilarating journey. I'd like you to elaborate on the path that actually led you here, the trajectory.
Sure. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. So So this all started when I met Byjus Ravindran, CEO of Byjus. At that time, he was a teacher. He was going from place to place taking classes for CAT. So I was a CAT student, and he had this habit of recruiting his students who had passion and then telling them that why don't you also take classes. So I fundamentally was a person who liked to take classes. I liked was to working with students, learning with them, helping them learn, so on and so forth. So that's how it started. It was more of the fact that I loved this out of my passion, and hence I did it. We did that for a couple of years, and we saw huge business growth. At that time, we used to run profitable business, unlike when you get funding. So what we and also there was always this growth mindset, right? We saw that this was growing well. We saw that everyone seems to be identifying this as a need. They were getting outcomes, and and nobody used to ask us any doubts also. So we said that, okay, doesn't seem like we need to be there in class. And that's where the whole transition to online happened. We started shooting videos and we started putting it in tabs. And that's where the whole understanding that you can teach and you can give outcomes like that. My background after my MBA has been sales and marketing. So this was sort of a part-time gig for me from the beginning. I was always in the industry, and post my MBA, I joined TAS, Tata Administrative Services, and there with multiple Tata companies, I did sales and marketing. So when Byjus got Series A, and I joined because that was the time when the company could really afford people like us. Till that time, it was a part-time gig. So when I came on board, it was about sales and marketing. So it was about building out the marketing system and the sales system, because finally every new company, sales is what is most important. You have to sell. That is when sustainability comes in. So that's what I did. So along with my teaching job or teaching gig, this is what I did. I felt that because I was so close to my consumer all the time, it kind of gave me a style of functioning where I only always listen to the customer, which helped me make the right decision, because finally that's what it is, right? And then when the business grow, you take up new things, and somehow I reached here. This is what it is.
That's a fabulous story, actually. And let's just get to the way forward. The edtech space is very crowded, and it seems to be getting even more crowded. I'm sure listening to you, every ambitious teacher will want to become an entrepreneur and a CEO as well. So what are what sets you guys apart, and going forward in the future, what do you think are those pillars that will make you differentiate yourself from everybody else?
Yeah, so Ramesh, you're absolutely right. It's a pretty crowded space now, and as a result of which, the cost of marketing, cost of sales, everything is on uptick. But I think that this is a short-term thing, because the kind of investment which is required to stand out in this market is not small, right? People think that doing online education is about putting a webcam there or doing it on a Zoom session. That's not how it works. It requires a lot of discipline building ideas to it. It requires ways to really handhold a person, make him interested, and then make him successful. So it's not easy. It is an expensive investment. So in case of UpGrad, from 2015 to 2019, before we started marketing out, the only focus the company did was developing the platform. It's almost 100 crore investment platform, which is the reason why the experience is so differentiated. Right? So I think that's been one of the things, that there is so much of understanding of the consumer. There is so much of our alumni base who still pitches for us, as a result of which there is a mot of brand UpGrad created. Very different from the marketing UpGrad, but more from a alumni and the positive word of mouth which has gone around. So that I think will differentiate us. Second is, as an organization, we are extremely customer focused. We keep trying to understand what the customer is thinking, will think, and where he will go. And this has helped us build out features before even the market starting to think about it. It gives us a short-term advantage because we are the first one to do that. But quickly, others in the market picks up. So the only way you can do it, you have to keep on innovating out. So that's how I think we will win this game, hands-on, over a period of time.
I'd actually like you to throw some names now. Yeah. Can we talk about UpGrad's roster of leading Indian and global universities? You referred from an umbrella point of view, but I'm talking about actually naming those universities, please.
Sure. So one good part about this whole thing's going to online is that every IIT and IIM is ready to work with online platforms like this. So we have partners, some of the best names in the country: IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIM Kozhikode. We work with IIIT Bangalore, which is a leading player in data science and machine learning in the country, literally launched it. We work with MICA from a marketing perspective. And from an international universities, we work with a lot of top tier US universities. We work with University of Arizona. We work with University of Maryland College. That's where Sergio Brin is from. People won't know the university, but people know the alum. We work with Duke University. In UK, we work with LBS, Liverpool John Moore University. So these are some of the marquee names. What we try to do is we try to understand a course or a skill set the customer or the learner is looking at. Then we try to find is the best fit university for that. So we have been lucky so far that we have been able to get some great names. Some of them who were little known inside India, but as part of our sustained campaign, we have been able to build a brand over a period of time. One example is Deakin, top university in Australia. Not many people knew it in India, but over a period of time, we have been able to build a brand around that. So this is the mechanism we have been using. It's been quite successful for us, and that's what we are looking forward to.
Great. And those are some really marquee names. Let's get to the fun part now. Some lifestyle questions that, before we sort of wrap up. What kind of music do you listen to and what's on your playlist right now? Also, any music concerts you've attended or during your student days or recently before the pandemic or some stuff that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, so I'm not a music person at all. So I am more into books than music. So I prefer that. Yeah, but I like to listen slow melody music, but that's not, I won't call it a hobby. It's once in a while.
Okay, let's quickly then transition to a book. Since you said music is not it, so I imagine even concerts is not something that excites you.
That's right.
A book that has made or left an impact on you.
So I primarily, like any other kid who does good in math in school, right? I chose engineering. So I went to NIT Calicut. So, and in NIT Calicut, so when I moved hostel, typically we have to clean our room. Whoever leaves it doesn't do anything, right? So while cleaning my hostel room for the first day, I got a book from the attic. It was a half-torn book. It was a book called it was a biography of a guy called Iacocca. He used to be the MD of Ford. So because I was curious, I started reading that book. So that book was the first one which created interest in management for me. That book is what made me think that maybe I should do an MBA. Because it really talks about a person like me, studious, started a corporate job, and how he transitioned into business and became successful. So I would say one book which have changed a few things in me has been this. And ever since that, I have got interested in autobiography. So I read a lot of autobiography or third-party biography of people, which gives me a perspective of how businesses came in and how problems were solved, so on and so forth.
I have to say this about Iacocca. I mean, even I read it at a very early stage of my life, perhaps when I was in college. And it gave us not only a perspective of him, but also about the car manufacturing industry in Detroit. I mean, how Detroit was such a hub. Yeah. And, they did what they did during the glory years.
Yeah. It was a brilliant book. So whenever I get an opportunity to gift youngsters, I still give them this book. I think it can be it's a great journey in my view.
Yeah, it was amongst the earliest books that we all read. I mean, what about a sport other than cricket, of course? You've already mentioned cricket now. Is there anything else that you watch other than cricket?
So I, not as common as cricket, but yeah, I do watch soccer and a bit of tennis. I'm from Kerala, so soccer has been in our blood, but we were more of World Cup and the country soccer people. Club soccer is not something which I've been very interested on, but I make it a point to go watch a match every World Cup. So that's one of the few hobbies I still have.
Nice.
That's interesting.
a favorite vacation spot, and why do you love going there?
So my favorite vacation spot is my hometown, which is Kannur. It's a small town in Kerala. I love going there because, it's a coastal town. And it's a nice place to be in. And I get to be with my parents and get to live all those old memories, which I love to go back to.
Brilliant. A business leader you find inspirational, other than, of course, Iacocca, you mentioned it, or you've been impressed by?
So, a lot of people. I've been very lucky to work with a lot of great people, be it Byjus or Ronnie, and have got an opportunity to interact with them closely, take their help. So, a lot of them. One of the specific names, if I need to take, is Aditya Puri. I am very, very impressed at the way HDFC Bank was built out from nothing. And you can find so few examples of a company growing by at least 20% quarter on quarter for 30 straight quarters. I mean, how do people do that? So that's been one of the things which I am very impressed with. He's one person whom I try to emulate.
Wonderful. Arjun, I have to say this, you will always be special to us, being the first ever CEO from the EdTech sector on the show. It's just great to see a business leader who is as driven and passionate as you are. Ramesh.
Absolutely. I mean, one word I'll remember is transitions. I mean, I never used it this way, but yeah, now I'll start using it this way. And really the fact that you're driving deep learning in the real world, not just, at the K-12 level, by creating original content that you're offering learners sort of a hyper-personalized one-stop solution. Well done. And I think all luck to you and your team.
Thank you. Thanks, Ramesh. Thanks, Hrishi. Fantastic talking to you guys. Hope you guys had a good time listening to the story.
Loved it. So Ramesh, I like that there are higher learning options that give us the full flexibility to study at our own pace.
Yeah, absolutely. We all thought in our life that we had to go to an IIT, IIM on campus and then sort of get through. But yeah, I guess you can study at your own pace and get employed by blue chip organizations. And that's not a bad plan at all.
Not a bad plan at all. Nice one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you keep listening to some great radio and podcasts. Please build that habit like we tell you every week.
And come back next week for another super episode.
Yes, Minding My Business, the CEO story, shall be back with another captain of the industry who's been a path breaker. Remember, you can catch us on 94.3 Radio 1 on FM radio and on HT Smartcast in podcast form over all major streaming platforms. This is a Radio 1 production. So till next week, it's a bye from me, Hrishi K.
And me, Ramesh Menon.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.